Today's objective is really to bring you up to speed with a new ASCENT Plus program that provides transnational access to key European research infrastructure. Another objective is also to guide you on how you can benefit from the program overall. So let me see, I have to do this. So for this, we have invited two guests from Martino Aldrigo and Susana Devesa, and I thank them very much for accepting the invitation. And we have invited them to talk to us, to share with us a little bit their experience from the previous program on ASCENT. And also we have Paul Rosengrave and Nicolas Cordero from the ASCENT Plus interface team that will tell us a little bit more on how, or explain a little bit more on how to engage with the ASCENT Plus program. Just before we start, I would ask you, if you haven't done already, to turn off your microphone and your camera, just to save the bandwidth. And then when we come to the Q&A session, just turn both on and try to keep this as much interactive as possible. About ASCENT Plus. ASCENT Plus brings together 15 partners across Europe. There are 5 partners that they are providing access to their infrastructure. Then we have 5 partners from the academia that work with the access providers to improve what is on offer. And then we have 5 more partners that they are interfacing with you mostly, and also help us to network so that we expand the ASCENT Plus community. So why ASCENT Plus? For making advances in nanoelectronics, right? Now you are the expert, so you know that this is expensive and requires a vast range of tools and know-how. So it is our vision within ASCENT Plus to enable you by opening the key infrastructures to provide the state-of-the-art tools, advanced equipment, and platform technologies, but also expertise, share with you the expertise of our people. So far, we have put together over 50 items and increasing. Nicolas may give you an update on that later, that are on offer. And we put them in a catalog in our showroom there. And in the future, in a series of future webinars, we will elaborate on those items in more and more detail. Today, we'll discuss mostly about how to engage, okay? And what we brought together, just to remind to people, is we brought together broadly items that are around processing, metrology and characterization, modeling and data sets, as well as devices and test structures for addressing the various nanoelectronics research themes. But what is important for us is to make access easy for you. And to do that, we have created the showroom that you are invited to have a look at. But also, we have put on the ground an interface team to make the interaction with the various access providers a seamless one. So what can you do with what we have put on offer? What are the research themes that you could target? Those of you that are familiar with the first phase of ASCENT over the last 4 or 5 years, and Martino and Susana in particular, they would know that what we were looking at in the first phase related mostly to advances in what we would call sub-10 nanometer nodes or more, and also going beyond CMOS on low power, high performance devices. But over the next 10 years, there will be many more advances to look at and get involved with, and from your own research. So we expanded the portfolio of what we offer as a consortium to look at the advances in solid state devices for quantum advantage, but also to enable you to do more in terms of advanced integration. And that can be from the material side to make more functional materials, to the back end of the line, to integration of the back end of the line to make more functional chips, but also heterogeneous integration. What is all this transnational access about? Today we celebrate, or we open the program of ASCENT Plus for transnational access. These are access projects that are free of charge, and typically, I mean, they range, right, between 10 days and a month or so. And we have also longer projects, but they are open to everyone. They're open to European and non-European researchers, and these are access projects to get on-site or use our equipment, to use the test structures or what is on offer in terms of the platform technologies, as well as the knowledge of the people on the ground. In the phase one, we had 100 such access projects, and this went to researchers from 30 countries around the world. With the expanded portfolio in ASCENT Plus, we are going to have more than 300 projects available, and these are available to both academic and industry researchers worldwide. Now, more details on how to engage and how to develop the proposals for these access projects will be given by Nicholas. But at this stage, I would like to thank you for this first part, and now I'm going to hand over to Martino, who is going to share some of his experience from the previous phase of ASCENT. Martino, are you okay to start sharing?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Giorgos. I will try to share. I hope you can see my presentation now. Can you please confirm that you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So I can start. So again, hello to everybody. My name is Martino Aldrigo, and maybe as you can recognize by my name, I'm an Italian guy, but I've been living in Romania since 2014, and where I work at IMT. So how did I know about ASCENT?
Martino, do you want to put it in presentation mode?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I think it's okay, right?
Perfect.
Okay. So this is a very philosophical title, My Story, Your Future, because I want to share my experience to motivate you to apply to ASCENT. I basically knew about ASCENT through the collaboration that IMT has had and still has with Tyndall. So I tried to apply to the ASCENT program, and I warmly suggest also to you to apply, because in my case, I wanted to fabricate a metal insulator metal diode. And it is the reference number of my project, 081. You can see the success story in the ASCENT site. And the aim was to, let's say, comply with the requirements of 5G technologies, for which efficient antenna rectifying diode systems or antennas are needed. More in detail, the requirements are low input power levels, I mean less than -10 dBm, at high frequencies, I mean in the millimeter wave range. So in my case, the optimal solution that I investigated was to integrate an Afium-based metal insulator metal diode with a gold platinum bow tie antenna, which you can see in the right of your screen. Also, different colors come from the different metals that were used to create this antenna. The devices were fabricated on high resistivity silicon dioxide substrate to guarantee CMOS compatibility. And overall, the devices had very nice performance. For example, a responsivity of more than 5 volt over watt, and an harvested voltage of about 250 microvolt. So in my case, I benefited from the facilities at Tyndall, where these rectangles were fabricated comprising a 6 nanometer thick hafnium-based diode. And all the devices were fabricated on a 4-inch silicon wafer with deep ultraviolet optical lithography. Then at Tyndall, we performed physical characterization using high-resolution transmission electron microscopy to investigate the potential imperfections in the multi-layer stratification. And you can see on the right 2 pictures taken at Tyndall, one with the red borders is a SEM image, whereas the bottom one is an HRTEM image. Finally, we performed a complete DC and RF characterization of harvesting capabilities at millimeter waves. So what I want to say is that why to apply to ASCENT Plus based on my experience? Because ASCENT and ASCENT Plus guaranteed very easy access to top quality European technological facilities. And in some way, it provides a sort of fast lane to achieve the proposed goals. Keep in mind also that the human aspect is very important, and the personnel that you can find is very professional, very helpful. If it can help also to decide to apply, the stay during which you will perform your fabrication, characterization, and so on will be completely funded. Flight, hotel, bed and breakfast. Okay, if you want to go to a very luxury hotel, okay, maybe not. But most of all, which is very important for us as young or experienced scientists, you can really have a strong network to other top quality scientists, and maybe other, I don't know, motivations. Maybe you have a friend, you want to visit him or her. Okay, this is personal, but just to be very helpful, if I wanted to be helpful, how to apply to ASCENT Plus? Just some hints. Please have a very clear idea in mind of what you want to do, because these projects are short-term, let's say short missions, short-term project. So you don't have to write a proposal with work package, impact, Gantt chart, and so on. No, you have to write a very straight-to-the-point proposal. You have to be very focused on goals which are feasible. So don't propose, I don't know, science fiction devices, because it is impossible to make them in 2 or 3 months. And in this respect, please be as much as possible specific on the expected outcomes and the research methods. I mean, you can write, and you should write, what you expect. And I don't know, for example, an idea of the fabrication flow, of the materials that you want to use. In this sense, ask for help from and brainstorm with your colleagues, also from the ASCENT facilities, For example, in my case, I was really helped a lot from Nicolas Cordero from Tyndall, because he also has a big experience in fabrication. But the most important thing is that keep in mind that you will do very high level technology in top quality research facilities in a time which is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And this is very useful also in this moment in which scientists have to produce a lot of papers, to go to conferences, they have to provide very quickly new results. And this program really helps you to achieve very nice results in, let's say, a short time, because the research that you carry out is very focused and very specific. And of course, be curious of whatever you want to explore, because this program has not a specific topic. So you can apply for whatever device or system you would like to test. So my last piece of advice is to access, because it is really worth trying this program.
Thank you very much, Martino. That was excellent. I couldn't have asked for more, thanks. And then maybe we hand over to Susana. If you can stop sharing, Martino, then Susana can start sharing there. And Susana, you need to unmute your microphone.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Susana. I finished my PhD just over a year ago, and I will talk about my experience in the ASCENT user and accessibility STEM, where I had the opportunity of work with David Cooper and Aidan Rooney. It all started with the application to the ASCENT program, and I was lucky to be selected to participate in the Research Accelerator program at Tyndall National Institute at Cork. After that, I applied to the ASCENT facility LETI, where I did TEM and EDX measurements. During my PhD, my research was focused on the study of ceramic materials that allow the reduction of size and weight of electronic components. This is materials with high dielectric constant and low dielectric losses. I developed 5 different systems based on bismuth and niobium, and its dielectric characterization was my main goal. However, for a better understanding of the dielectric properties, it is important to know the structural properties of the developed materials, namely the crystallite size. And the crystallite size can be estimated using different models. Nevertheless, the confirmation of these results using TEM analysis is very important. For the TEM analysis, I have to select 2 sets of samples. Like Martino said, we have to focus on 1 or 2 objectives. We cannot study all of our samples, so we have to select them, and we have to have a plan. In my case, I selected pyrochlores, this first one, because pyrochlores have recently attracted considerable attention in many areas, being this one less known. And I selected also erbium niobate samples due to its potential in optical applications. I will now present the results of the measurements performed in the sample identified as 1. Using STEM micrographs and high resolution STEM micrographs, like the ones we can see in figure 1 and 2, we were able to obtain the crystallite size distribution and abundance, like we show in figure 3. And the average particle size was then calculated. And as we can see, with a good agreement, with the results obtained from the XRD measurements shown in Table 1. We used 4 different models based on the information from XRD. And with the TEM analysis, we could decide which one of the models was better to explain or to obtain the crystallite size of this particular material. And in this case, the Scherrer formula was the best result. And was this particular information that led me to choose this sample to be studied in the TEM at Leti. The average interference was also measured, presenting values that were also in a good agreement with the XRD information. Finally, the STEM-EDX mapping analysis of the sample showed the homogeneous distribution of the elements of the surface of the particles with no impurities detected. With the measurements performed in Leti, were already included into publications, with another paper being finalized at the moment. The first paper was about the dielectric properties of the erbium niobate particles, and we performed 10 measurements in the sample that showed the most promising properties in the dielectric range of microwaves. The second paper was about the pyrochlore, and this paper includes the study that was shown in the previous slide. The work that is now in progress is once more about erbium niobate and the optical properties, and will be finished soon, we hope. With the ASCENT program, I had the opportunity to contact with different nanofabrication and characterization techniques, which is very different from reading it about in the literature. It was also possible to apply characterization techniques that were not available in my department and discuss the outcomes with experts in that field. And as a PhD student at the moment, the participation in the ASCENT program had a very positive impact on my work, and I highly recommend other PhD students or researchers to apply. And thank you for listening, and very good luck for the future candidates, and thank you for the invitation for today.
Thank you, Susana, for that very nice overview. And I would like again to acknowledge both your contributions, Martino and Susana, and hopefully we will see another application of yours in ASCENT Plus, or maybe one of your students. So we'll keep it going.
Yes.
Very good. So I'll pass on to Paul now, Paul Rosengrave.
Okay, just checking that you can hear and see the slides. Yeah?
Yeah, you're fine, Paul.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a small introduction to the process of how you can engage with the program. We've created a 6-step simple process for access. These are outlined here. And I'll take you through the sign up, and then my colleague Nicholas will take you through a number of the other aspects of it. But first of all, I'd like to give you a kind of a layman's 1-sentence version of what ASCENT Plus is. And in our previous program, we called it a fast and easy access to the world's most advanced nanotechnology infrastructure and access. Now, this is a long sentence, but it's a very important one, and it kind of simplifies what it's all about. One thing that's missing in that sentence is the word free of charge, which is a huge advantage to any budding researchers or anybody with a new idea that wants to try something out. So when we talk about sign up, all you're giving us is just your basic contact information, your email address and your name. And we will then send you on a regular basis little updates about the program. Maybe every quarter you'll get a newsletter with 4 or 5 items on it. We don't keep sending spam. So if you sign up, you're guaranteed to get the kind of facts and up-to-dates. You can also follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, or through the website. So you have a lot of different platforms that you can keep up to date with what's happening. But the sign up is probably the most important one for us to keep in touch. The interface team then, now we have a number of sites across Europe that you have access to, but for the initial contact, and this is where the simplicity of the program comes to fore, where whether you're going to sign up, whether you want to inquire about some of our offerings or apply with a proposal, everything you send in will come directly to an email address here in Cork in Ireland. And from here, it will be discussed with the other technical points of contact around Europe there in red, because there are 5 different access sites. Nicholas, my colleague in Cork, and myself will look after the initial inquiries. We have a number of years experience of this, so you can be guaranteed a very fast response. Typically, if you send in an inquiry, you'll get a connection on the same day from us to say that we're on it, we're working with it, and we'll be back to you within a matter of days. We'll put you in contact with the right people and we'll move the request along. We also have some technical assistance. Sometimes people engage and say, I know what I want at the end, but I'm not sure how the fabrication works. So we can also help with that. In the past project, which was ASCENT, which was 2015 to 19, we had over 100 projects delivered during the lifetime of the project. These were transnational access, but importantly, not just across Europe. There's a certain percentage of the budget which can also be spent on researchers engaging with us from outside Europe. So we had India, we had researchers from Japan, from South Korea, and another example from the USA. So it's truly a transnational access program in that right. One thing I would ask you to do, this is my last slide, is do 3 things in the next few days. Would request that you sign up if you can, please, through the website form. Also have a look around our showroom. Nicholas has put a lot of work into gathering different images and technical information about all the offerings across the different partners. So you can look and see about information there. And finally, consider following us on either LinkedIn, Twitter, or ResearchGate. We'd be delighted to have you on as part of the community. And at the moment, we have over 430 people across the world who get regular updates from us. So I'll hand over now to Nicholas. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Sorry. Okay, can you see that? Hello?
Not yet, Nicholas.
Sorry?
No, we can't see anything.
Sorry, I'll try again.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Thank you. Okay, the actual one, thanks, Paul. Paul, the introduction of how to be in contact with the programs so that you know what we are about and what we are doing, any news and update. Once you have an idea of something technical, definitely you can contact us anytime. The interface team is available to talk to you informally at any time. You can go through the website, you can get in touch with us or through the social media, so on. So you have only a preliminary idea, there's no problem to talk to us. Once you have a good idea what you want to do, what you're thinking about, what you think we could help, the next step could be a technical inquiry. It's a bit more official than just having an informal conversation. So it's done through the website. There's an online form, a little bit more than the sign up. We obviously need your contact details to be able to talk to you. Some details about what type of organization you are working with, where you are based, and then not much detail, but a bit of a description of what you are looking for, what are you working on, and what type of help you need with. So essentially that could be, I don't know, maybe saying I'm working on this and I need characterization, or I need some type of application, or I need access to some test devices and so on. So essentially you submit this, and that goes, as Paul mentioned, goes straight to the interface team, so Paul and myself, and then we'll try to contact you as soon as possible. And the first part of that job is try to identify, as you were saying, there's 5 facilities, but you don't need to find out who is the best for you. We'll do that for you. We'll find out who are the best, most suited, who had the equipment that best fit with your requirements. So once we have identified what is that facility, then starts the more detailed work, is to actually prepare a proposal, and that's done between you, the user, and whatever is the chosen facility. Again, there'll be a single person representing the facility. You won't have to be talking to 10 different people in 5 different places. So at that stage, the proposals, this is short projects. I think Martino mentioned it a few times. They are short focused projects. So you have to agree how much effort is required and what type of access you need. So together, the user, together with that technical person at the facility, will put a proposal together. So there is a proposal because it has to be evaluated by an external panel. So the main thing to remember, I think this is important. The proposal itself is quite simple. It's 6 pages, most of them fixed format, just fill boxes in a PDF form. The important thing is it's not a service. What ASCENT Plus is not offering is not a service. There has to be, we're trying to help you. You have a good idea, a good innovation. What ASCENT does, it gives you access to the facilities to achieve that idea. So there has to be some innovation. So that's described in the proposal. So is there quality? What are you trying to do, and why are you trying to do? There has to be outcomes. So in more research papers, an outcome could be just a publication or presentation. In more commercial jobs, like we had lots of applicants from SMEs or even large companies, you would expect maybe just to develop a prototype or something that could lead us some, obviously in 15 or 20 days work, you're not going to create the whole product, but something that could lead a step forward towards maybe commercial exploitation. Obviously, it's very important, again, because they're short focused projects. They have to be well planned. It has to be very clear who is doing what and when. So the planning is a third of the proposal, just describing how it's going to be done and what are the different phases, and are there any risks and how you're going to manage them. At the end of the day, as Paul mentioned, the idea is to be fast and simple. So one of these proposals between the user and the technical person at the facility shouldn't take more than a couple of hours to put together once the discussions beforehand had been sorted and agreed. Here it could be an example based on one of the cases of the original ASCENT, and again, focusing on the fast and simple. So the first there's 3 actors in the whole interaction between the user and ASCENT Plus. So you have the user himself or herself, obviously. You have the interface team, as I said, Paul and myself, and then you have the technical person in the facility. So the first stage is the technical inquiry. So in this case, for example, was the user said, look, I'm working on topological insulator for qubits, but I don't have the facilities to look at the interface. Can you help me with that? So that goes to the interface team, and then in that case, obviously, we'll know, well, what materials are you working with, what thicknesses you want to look at, and so on. So we try to extract a bit more detailed technical details to try to send them to the right facility. So the user comes back. This could be done by email, could be done on the phone, Zoom in these days, whatever way is the easiest way for everybody to communicate. So in that case, once we knew what materials he was looking for and what type of dimensions he was looking at, said, well, in your case, the best facility is one that offers a high resolution TM, so we'll put you in touch with them. So that first part could be the technical inquiry. So the second part, then you start with the discussions with the technical person at the facility. So when the facility is chosen, obviously the facility need to know more details, how many samples you want to characterize, what dimensions are they, are there any handling restrictions? In labs, obviously that's an issue because sometimes you could have restrictions. So again, that could take a few days, maybe a week or something like that. You discuss, find out all those details. So, and once that phase is finished, then you essentially have the basic of the proposal. So in this case, example, it was agreed to do 5 to do a cross-section of the devices and do then a high-resolution TEM. It was agreed to do one thing when we're talking about focus projects and we're talking about 15, 20 person days of work. That doesn't mean they had to be 15, 20 days in one block. So whatever makes sense in phases. So in this particular case, of course, they said, look, we had 3 preliminary samples. The user came to the facility and took part in the FIB and the TEM. Once the results of those were out, he went back to his lab, worked on them, and then a couple of months later, he prepared more samples, and then those were done remotely. So that's one thing interesting of the access to ASCENT Plus, could be a visit. I know at the moment with restrictions that's limited or not available, but when things reopen, hopefully they will have visits. But meanwhile, the work can be done remotely as well. The idea of the whole process, so anyway, once that's decided, the next step is just finish the form of the proposal and submit it for evaluation. And we tend to have a very, very high, it has to go to an external panel for evaluation, but in the original ASCENT, because we have put all the preparatory work, we had very high success rate. So that's a good thing. It's not wasting time to just send in a proposal and you have only one chance if 10 or so on. We think by putting all the preparatory work, it helps life much easier and it takes at the end less time. So this whole process from the original technical inquiry to a proposal being submitted takes an average between around 3 weeks. It could be, if everything is very straightforward, could be 2 weeks, sometimes could be 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but essentially very fast and very easy. And remember that it's very short focus projects, around 20 person days. If it's justifiable to be a bit more than that, there's no limit written in stone, but it's only something really needs a huge amount of effort that you could go far higher than the 20 person days. As it has been mentioned by a couple of the speakers before, if you go to our website, and I imagine you know the website, if you register for the webinar, we have a section that we call the showroom that essentially shows all the different offerings. So you'll see there's things from a full processing facility for 3.5 or for silicon, individual devices that are available, 3D packaging things, characterization equipment, both physical and electrical characterization. So it gives you a good idea of the type of things that are on offer. So if you have an idea in your mind, obviously talk to us, contact us either through a technical inquiry or more informally. But the showroom gives you an idea of what's available, the type of equipment that's on offer at the different facilities, so that you have a better feeling of what can be done. We're planning at the moment in 3 weeks' time to have another ASCENT Plus webinar, and in which case what we'll do, we'll go into more detail into the showroom. But in the meanwhile, if you just follow that page in the website, you'll be able to find out. I think at the moment there's 60 offerings, and there'll be more coming in the near future. So I think this is more from my side. So do you want to take over from there, Giorgos?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Nicholas. So at this stage, we have planned, if you can stop sharing, Nicholas, that would be great.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Yeah. So we have time now for the next 5 to 10 minutes on questions that you may have for the interface team, but also, to Martino and Susana. I think they're still with us. If you like to get more information on their experience from accessing our facilities. So the floor is yours for questions.
If you are shy, you can send one on the chat room.
Hello, everyone. I'm Abhishek, and I really appreciate the nice presentation all of you gave here. And I have a short question about the user. How much of the access is he allowed to have on the tools in the research facility? Is he only there to see it from a distance, or he can also have a hands-on? He can do it himself.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the with the all ASCENT and the plan with ASCENT Plus, we have is whatever suits people. We like to encourage a visit. I think you learn more and you get more done if the user actually visits the facility. Most of the time, obviously, you won't be like if you're in a processing fab or that requires training and safety and so on, you wouldn't be hands-on, but you could be there with the technician doing the work. Characterization, it could be almost me hands-on. We definitely encourage that. As I was saying earlier, at the moment, because of the COVID-19 restrictions worldwide, the 5 facilities at the moment are out of bounds, even for us as a staff. So in the next few months, it had to be remote. So either you send us the samples or we get the samples fabricated and send them to you. But yeah, we will hope when things start improving, we hope to go back to having visits, or it's possible to do a combination of visit and remote, do part of the work with the user at the facility and part remotely.
All right, thanks a lot.
Can I ask a question?
Yuri?
Yuri.
Yeah. So about the application process, once the call is open, how long is the application window?
May I take that, Nicholas?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because that's something we didn't give information on, right? So today we actually launched officially the program, and what we decided to do just to have a quick turnaround on the applications, and also to make it much easier for the processing of the applications. We put the last day of the month as a deadline for a batch. So it's essentially an open call, but we roll it every month. So the last day of the month is the last day to submit the application, and then we process all the applications we receive by the end of the month.
Yeah. And actually, that's the application, but as if you go back into my process, the technical inquiry, or if you want to contact us for any informal discussions, that's open all the time. So you can, the technical inquiry, you can do it anytime you want. And if you just want to contact directly, just to give us have a chat with us as well. The roll-on call that Giorgos mentioned is the actual proposal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So the next deadline is on the 28th of February, Yuri. No pressure.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
But there'll be again March and April and May and June, so we'll be around for the next 4 years. So hopefully we'll get a chance. If it's not this month, it'll be another one.
I see there is one on the chat. A question for us is, are all the available devices the ones shown in the showroom, or there are more that are not yet published on the website?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are. Yeah, some of them, the ones that they are already there, there'll be more being uploaded in the next few days or weeks. So they will be more, but until it's confirmed with the facility and so on, it won't be advertised until it's confirmed. But yeah, there will be more available in the near future.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
There's one other question there as well about how do you manage IPR issues?
Yeah, from again, be based on the thing. Obviously, any background that the user has is owned by the user. There's no problem. Once a project, if there's anything confidential in the discussions with the facility, there's always an option of signing some kind of an NDA. But all the discussions with the team are confidential. They are covered with confidentiality agreement. When the proposal is submitted, it's also obviously confidential. Once a project is approved, then you have to sign a memorandum of understanding with the facility. That's just between the user and the facility. There are ASCENT process stays out of the way. And most of the time, the way we have worked with the standard process would be you keep the user keeps all the IP generated by the project. But again, it will be depend. Obviously, if there's background IP from the facility incorporated into the things, we have to discuss that and how is that sorted. But that's done only when the project is approved and it's just a relation between an agreement between the user and the facility.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Laurent Artelac speaking from Honora in France. I was wondering if there is any restriction if we submit an application for a new project on ASCENT Plus, but we already get a project funded by ASCENT for the first phase.
No, there's no problem. Even within ASCENT Plus, the fact that you can have a successful project, say next month or the month after, and once that's finished, maybe in another 6 months you have another idea. Obviously, you're not going to repeat the same thing, but maybe there's nothing excludes a user that has already been successful can apply again and again. Obviously, I said you are not going to repeat the work over and over, but yeah, there's no restriction at all. As long as it's a new thing or innovative or maybe a step forward or so on the work, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, this is Andre from Fraunhofer speaking.
Hey,
so it's great to have a program such as ASCENT Plus for exchanging scientific personnel. Would it also be possible the other way around? So you offer access to 14 nanometer FinFET or to 3.5 semiconductors. Would I be able to just get a couple of wafers from example IMEC in 14 nanometer FinFET to do some characterizations which I have in mind? Or is it something that's not possible within ASCENT Plus?
Do you want to take that, Giorgos, or I'll take it?
Yeah. You're already a member of the consortium, aren't you?
So Fraunhofer is, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not directly sure whether my institute is as well, but that would be something I can find out easily. So
yeah, no, that is, well, I have to be careful on what I'm going to answer here, right? What we have made available test structures or devices for characterization. In fact, one of the previous and Nicholas, you are more familiar with that, right? But in one of the previous ASCENT projects, there was a whole wafer with devices that was given for characterization to extract the data and build compact modelings on the electrical characterization data. So that is possible. Now, the specifics we will need to work out.
okay, we can easily discuss it offline as well. Thanks so far.
Yeah, just to confirm that, yeah, essentially test devices is one. The most common access will be to the facilities, to characterization equipment or to processing or so on. But one of the options is access to test devices. It's just the specifics. At the moment, there's only 3 or 4 confirmed. If you look at the showroom, for example, the 14 nanometers FinFET is not confirmed. So, but yeah, it's a thing that we are looking at. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm just going to put up the slide with the call to action once more up there before we close the meeting. But in the meantime, if you have more questions, just keep asking them. So just to remind everyone to keep up to date, we will encourage everyone to sign up. This is the link. We'll make the webinar available in any case to you, so you can have all the links there from the webinar link. But we encourage you to sign up to keep up to date with the how we run the program and also the project, the program results, and also what we, how our offer changes. I think Nicholas mentioned, that we have at the moment 60 items. last week when we were having this discussion with Nicholas, we had 55 or so. So we keep adding items and we keep refining those items. So this is one good way to keep at pace with the developments. Then we again at your own time you can check the facilities or the expertise and the tools and platform technologies, the devices, the FinFETs that was mentioned as an example, and we are going to add some more on the on advanced memories over the next while. On you can all find details, technical details in the showroom. Our plan is to take a deeper dive at the next webinar, just to take you through the showroom and explain how everything is classified, how to work your way around, what information you can find there, and then as a part of a series in the future, again we will go into more technical details about the possibilities, use cases for some things that we have on offer. And we will have more and more technical webinars in terms of results that research results can be obtained from accessing the infrastructure and the expertise. And then the last thing is, again, to keep up to date, follow us at your favorite platform, whether this is LinkedIn or ResearchGate or Twitter, and we will keep in contact. At this stage, I thank you again for participating, and hope we will exchange some more information either over email or see you at the next webinar.